Welcome back. It's early September 2024 up here at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. We're tackling a few more of these older serviceman style stones. I've been doing, I can't find a lot of research about them, but there's a number, if you look around, there's a number of stones for servicemen. This is, I can already see it's Philip Wilson, and looks like 1897, so this is a little bit older one. Still in that same style. These might be, handed out by the government. Somebody was indicating that these are, if you apply for a serviceman's headstone, this is one of the styles. There's a variety of styles around here that I found. Have not found a definitive work on this yet. But this one's in pretty bad shape. It's been beat up. You can see there's some, they call mower disease down here, where mowers or string trimmers have nibbled at them. And the stone is, it's pretty weathered. So it's a marble. We're going to give it, we have made sure that it's sturdy. It's not going to fall over on us. We're going to give it a shot with we wet it down, give it a shot with the Orvis soap. And then we're going to use our different brushes here. And I keep my, let's see what I got, a water bottle. I have a water bottle, or water, and I have a bottle of my soap. I also have my soap in that for big spray down. I went to a talk with Atlas Preservation did back in early August. They were doing a around the country tour, and they went out in Medina, New York State, where the cemetery is in Medina, and just happened to be out in Rochester for something going on the next day, so we went out a little bit early and went to it. Unfortunately, it was a kind of rainy, lousy day, and so we left after a couple hours, my wife and I, and then it turns out the rain stopped and they had more demonstrations, but it was kind of interesting to see John, shake his hand, hear what he had to say about things. And he is the guy. And if you're wondering about headstone preservation or cleaning or anything else like that, he's certainly the guy to check. And he's all done with the 48 state tour now. Like I say, they for some reason they had us in the newer section of the cemetery. And it would have been nice to have us out in the old section where you had a lot of these old headstones, but I guess just for logistical reasons or whatever, they had us in the newer section. So we're looking at stones that were in the 1940s, 50s, stuff like that range. They weren't real old ones. A lot of granite, not as much marble. But you pop them up, hit your questions. So anyway, I wet it down. I've got my bottle of water. I'm just going to keep it wet because I want to work on a wet stone. This marble is a very white, almost like a translucent. I've got a stiff brush, but I'm not scrubbing away at it. I'm just kind of using it to get this green growth that's in the, very gently, get the green growth that's in the inscription here. Let's get that stuff out of there and knock it out. So I got to hear from what John's experiences, of course, and also you can watch them on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and everything, as they were covering it pretty well as they went around every state. And this is a fingernail brush. A little bit finer, a little bit softer bristle, not too soft. Again, just kind of giving it, working the inscriptions there. One of the interesting things he said was at the cemetery we were at, they had sprayed Roundup or some type of killer, weed killer, around every headstone. And he said the single worst thing you can do for a headstone is to spray herbicide around it, because the chemicals react with the stone, and it's very bad for the stone, which was, kind of I think a shock to the people who were out there, the friends of the cemetery. But it was kind of interesting to hear that. It's a lot of money to go around and spray all those thousands of stones. The problem is, of course, they think it's saving themselves a lot of time because of the weed eating and mowing and whatnot. It makes it a little bit easier. The other thing they noticed was that it killed all the grass. So all the soil around every headstone was sitting like proud of the surface. And so it kind of made them stick up, and it was actually probably doing more damage. Of course, here, the guys go around with the mowers and the weed eaters, and no matter how careful you are, you're going to hit it every once in a while, and you hit the soft stone. But it was just kind of, I think everybody was kind of shocked to hear John say that. Single worst thing you can do for a headstone is spray weed herbicide around it. So the people putting on the seminar we're probably going to go back to the staff of the cemetery and say, John says you can't do that. They're probably going to say, well, tough. They've got a job to do, and maybe they'll change their practice. We don't know. Here they don't do it. So we're working on this. I can get my Amazon toothbrush out here. Just finish getting into these. Of course, our primary goal here is do no harm, which is why we go to classes and learn what other people are doing, the proper way to do things. And we come back and we do what we can. But since this is so worn anyway, the surface of the stone is weathered, we're not going to do a lot of scrubbing on it. We're just going to get the heavy grime and growth out of it. And then we will just let the D2 work on it, keeping it wet. So we can see, this is an early one. This is a Civil War guy. It looks like 9th New York Heavy Artillery Company. I think it's F. We're just gonna, and we're gonna move on to his wife. If this was in really bad shape, we could just spray it with D2 and let that work on it. And it would take a little bit longer, but it would still do the job and certainly not cause any damage whatsoever. And every time we do something like this, you're going to be causing a little bit of damage. Just by scrubbing on it, but you're hoping what you're doing here, cleaning it, killing what's growing into it and giving it a good cleaning and treatment, that you're doing less damage than doing nothing at all. That looks pretty good. I'm going to let it go there. Get around the back here, see what that looks like. Let me see here. The back ain't too bad. Give it a quick scrubby. Let's get that. This one's out in the open. There's no trees around it, so it's I think a lot of that pollen stuff onto it. Got my stiff brush. I'll just give it a scraping, knock that stuff loose. I've already taken a before picture of this, just to document it. And we'll take an after picture when we do the find a grave, and we will then come back a few weeks and document it again. So, Mr. Wilson, there you are, and we'll give the front one more spray. Let that dry as we're working over here. And this is interesting. We're gonna move you over. And we're gonna see if I can, there we go. So this is Marcia? Or Marcia, I'm sorry, Marcia. Jeez. Looks like a G almost. Same style stone. You'll notice the inscription's a little different. This is the wife. So apparently family applied for a headstone for her too. We hit it with the water. Steady. This got a lot of, not a lot, but amount of stuff growing onto it. I'll just give it a little scraping, knock that stuff off. The brush will take care of it, but it's just fun to do this too. This has got a, this is a completely different stone. I don't know if you can see it or not. Almost sparkles. It's a gray, and that's a white. So this is a gray marble, it looks like. For what little bit I know about marble, that's a white marble. I said that almost has like a translucence to it. This one has a sparkle. So, all right, what do I do with my water? There it is. So again, wet stone. We're just gonna give it just a gentle with the stiffer brush. This one has the flag. See the flag on that one. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these in the gray like this. It's got a roughness to it. Of course, that's the sugaring process where it's worn off. And this is, yeah. I say it almost looks like a G, but it's Marcia A. Twilliger, wife of P.R. Wilson. There's P.R. right there, Philip. Get that of stuff, knock it off. We're gonna do a little more soap. There's no rhyme or rationale how I do this, just keeping it wet. Now, when I first started doing this, a few years back, sounds like I've been doing it forever, but a few years back in the COVID days, they were saying to use the Orvis soap because it's a neutral pH, neutral ionic, safe for the stone, and the cemetery preservationist people were advocating for that. If you're going to use a soap, use the Orvis soap. What John was saying is, since the soap is a surfactant and the D2 is a surfactant, that the Orvis soap will hinder or can kind of block the D2 from getting into the surface of the stone, because you have a surfactant working against a surfactant. The reason that we use the Orvis soap, or a lot of people started doing it, was just because the cost of the D2 it's pretty expensive, $50 a gallon. And you want to get your money's worth out of it. Some people will say you can they advocate you can dilute it and cut it down or whatnot, but that's almost like cutting your soap. It's basically a soap with a biocide into it to kill the growth, the mold, and everything. It's in the stone. It's completely safe. You can use it with your bare hands and everything. So so anyway, he was saying that they say don't use the D2 or the Orvis anymore. Just use the D2. Now, cynical Mike says, well, of course he's selling D2, and if he's advocating for that, he's selling it, he wants to use more D2. But he also wants, I don't think he needs the business, and I think he wants everybody to do the best job. The trick is, if you're going to use the Orvis, is to get as much of it off as you can. Don't leave it on there, then spray the D2 over it. I noticed those guys, they tend to just use the D2 for everything, for the treatment to during the rinsing, whereas I use water, a lot of water. I have a pump sprayer for water, and I have a pump sprayer for D2, and I have a pump sprayer for Orvis. So I use a lot of water in my process, and so I've had very good luck. I am nowhere near an expert. I've had very good luck with the Orvis treatment, and then using the D2 as an after to final treatment. I say I use a lot of water. I've had stones that I've done now I think I've been doing this for 3 years. And the stones that I did the first year are very clean, holding up very well. So I guess to each his own. You kind of take what you learn. The big thing is you're not doing any harm using Orvis. You might be, if worse comes to worse, you might be decreasing the efficiency or efficacy of the D2, but you're not doing any harm. So this is the, and look at it turn, get that orange cast almost immediately there. You know it's working. So if I had lots and lots and lots and lots of money, I would certainly use the D2 right from the get-go, but I don't. The Historic Society is kind of funding this, and through donations, and the town helps a little bit and helps buy some supplies. So I'm trying to stretch my dollar. So hopefully I'm not making it worse. I don't think I'm making anything worse by doing it this way. It seems to work. I know I did a stone one day, and look at those turn orange. Thank goodness. Look at that. You know it's working. I was doing a stone one day, and I didn't have any D2, and I was surprised how clean it came just from using the soap. So the soap itself does work. And I'm going to do this one. This is another Wilson, Eva Wilson. And the reason I'm doing this one is it's a different type of stone. It certainly looks like a replacement. Because she died in 1893. So obviously was a daughter of the Wilson family. And it's a granite stone, so somebody from the Wilson family has paid for this. But these flat ones like this just get so much of this lichen and growth on them. They clean up really quickly, and they're fun to do. You can do them bing, bang, boom. Since they are granite, you can use a little bit more stiffer brush with them. You don't have to be as tentative as you are with the marble. So we'll just knock some of this stuff off. And I'm assuming that the reason that they get so nasty is the inscription just lies flat to the elements, and stuff just falls in here, and dirt, and just falls in these deep inscriptions, and just gets a good foothold, and then just starts growing. Whereas it can't really do that so well on the tombstone style headstones. But this is probably a little bit newer version. And I've commenting on another stone that one time I thought that this dark color here was like a dye they put around it to kind of highlight the name. And one of the things I learned was that it's not true. That that's actually, this is an unpolished stone, and you kind of want to get that clean. That's just dirt and grime and pollution and everything else. So you have the polished stone, and then you have the unpolished stone. So if you're aggressive with it, you can get that off there. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it. Just going to knock that off because I'm going to show you folks that. I'm going to give it a spray in here. There you go. From I'm working downhill. Looks like about 9 years old when she died. So you can see the polished, the unpolished. Say this is a replacement stone. Maybe the family didn't have a stone for her. And she passed. Somebody put it in here, or somebody was replacing a stone, so we're gonna give it the D2. Funded by the good people of the Old Men's Heritage Center, our local historic society. So that's it for those guys. So there you go. So there's the Wilson, Philip Wilson, Marcia Wilson, and Eva. Okay, bye for now.